Kabir's game in SJB revealed. Ranil finds things more serious than he first thought. More to join him before UNP convention. Thalitha gets company in Mayantha and Manaparuma. Support for Sajith dwindles. Situation critical in Gampaha. SJB now under SLPP control, in for a big erosion soon. Mahinda takes up the fight on Namal's behalf. Johnny, Kutirachi, Adirimani, Ketagoda hard at work. Inaugural meeting is not that bad. A media head is surprised by Sajith's memory. Imitiaz comes to Sajith's aid. A state media chief is pictured with the SJB leader. Ex-SLPP Group 2 is a busy lot. Looking ahead, the ex-SLPP lot opens a new office. Future plans made with Dinesh in the chair. Viangodas must answer question to Sajith.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Kabir's game in the SJB revealed. Sajith Permadasa and Anura Kumara Disanayake are the frontrunners in the presidential race. But President Ranil Wickremesinghe scored the highest in recent days, according to some opinion surveys. So, a three-horse race is in the offing. Finding the situation to be more serious than he first thought, Ranil has turned innovative in his political tricks. That takes up much of his time nowadays. After his first campaign rally in Anuradhapura a week ago, he returned to Colombo and summoned some members of his inner circle to his place. Ruan Wijewardena and Mahinda Haradasa were there. He told them the time was ripe to get Thalitha Athukorala off the SJB. The names of many more, including another female, were mentioned too. Ranil consented when one proposed to keep her there and get her to make trouble in the party. She is having big trouble with Jelani, he said. Ranil said it would be better if 3 or 4 could be wooed before the party convention. Much of the time was spent on discussing how to find money for the campaign. The one in charge of financial matters said advertisements cannot be published in weekend papers. With the new act now in force, everything gets counted. Anway, organisers should be given something more. MPs were given something. I am planning to give something to former PS members next week, he said. Another remarked that Sajith too is having funding issues. The former said the situation was not so bad, but the money should be released gradually. We can start next week, he added, much to their relief. It is no secret for Leader TV viewers that several SJB MPs have been dealing closely with Ranil for quite some time. Ruan and UNP Working Committee member Dinuk Kolambage have been their go-betweens. The duo met those MPs at their request, mostly at Ruan's place at Hyde Park Corner. With that Hyde Park Corner conspiracy coming to light, the SJB started attacking all those behind it. So, the deal strikers took action to show that they had nothing to do with it. Another issue arose, with the SJB team leader betraying it all. Thalitha took his place, but found her parliamentary seat coming in the way. Ranil got to know about that and asked her to resign. Encouraged by that, Thalitha went to her home at Panawena, Kahawate, and started writing her resignation letter after switching off her phone. She obtained advice from a few. It took her a couple of days to finish the letter. She got it typed by a close confidant, went through it again and took it to Parliament. Suspecting her silence, Lakshman Fonseca and others made inquiries. But no one was able to find anything out until she arrived in the House. As she started her speech, taking the seat closest to her was her closest colleague, Kabir Hashim. After finishing her speech, she left the chamber with SJB's Mayantha Disanayake and Ajith Manaparuma. She came face to face with Rishad Bathiuddin. He said he could not understand why she made such a decision. Thalitha replied that her entire speech gave her reasons. She departed after telling him to remember as to who had protected Rishad and his wife when they fell into trouble. On Thursday morning, Ranil arrived at the Flower Road campaign office. Several politicians were there as well. Naturally, the matter of Thalitha came up during their conversation. Namal Lanza said it was true SJB MPs now have no place in the party. It is run by the former SLPP ones, he said. Wajira said it was Kabir who spoke to him first with a request to link the disappointed lawmakers with the president. He even spoke to the president several times, he said. But he betrayed it in the end. But Thalatha had a backbone which Kabir didn't have, Deputy Leader Ruwan noted. Lanza told Ranil that there were no crowds at the SJB meeting in Katunayake. Kavinda Jayawardena and Ajith Manaperuma were absent too, he said. Shehan Semasinghi joined in, saying Lucky had berated the organisers over it. Usually crowds come to Katana from Jaela and Gampaha. It is clear the doctor who left us is without people's support. She too got disappointed after being denied the chair, Dolawata added. Sagala Ratnayake said that according to the information he has, the SJB has trouble in the entire Gampaha district. There's an issue with opening offices too, he said. It was said that the SJB is in for a big erosion very soon. Ranil listened to all these while shaking his head. Lanza ended proceedings by standing up after remarking that with the president arranging the ground nicely, they only have to play the game. Well knowing that he has no turning back, Ranil shows all his colours, the results of which are seen today. Mahinda takes up the fight on Namal's behalf. SLPP candidate Namal Rajapaksa started his campaign together with his family after attending religious functions. He paid homage at Sri Mahabodhi, Dalada Maligawa, Kiri Vihara, Kataragama Diwali, etc. As is tradition with the Rajapaksas, he had his first rally in Anuradhapura. They had planned to hold it on the 21st at Salgado grounds, but Johnny got to know that SM and Rohitha had already booked it for an event on the 23rd. So, Namal had to make do with a smaller venue at Kadapanaha. The Rajapaksas are now without a single MP in Anuradhapura, not even the former LG members. But Johnny, Ediriman, Kutiarachchi, Weerasinghe, Chanaka and Ketagoda worked day and night and made it quite a success. Mahinda too made a good speech at the rally. He said some had crossed over for petty gains while others were deceived into doing so. When he said that they all will have to return one day, supporters shouted out that none should be accepted back. Mahinda said to thundering applause that if they didn't want them, he didn't want them either. So in the end, the father took the son's side. That proves the saying that blood is thicker than water. A media head is surprised by Sajith's memory. Sajith Premadasa, the SJB candidate, is the busiest one in the election platform. Holding meetings across the country and meeting the people, he rushes from one event to the other in a flash, his supporters say. Amid all the busy schedule, he took time off on Thursday morning to meet with heads of media institutions. Imitiaz coordinated the event at Mandarin Hotel in Kolupatia, starting at 8:30 in the morning. Sajith arrived with his top advisor Lucky. He was flanked at the head table by Dulles, GL, Charitha, Hakim, Rishad and Ganeshan. Sajith didn't make a speech, but went from one table to the other, chatting with those present. The first was a senior from Lanka. Even before introductions were made, Sajith addressed him by name. The SJB leader said that since his father's time, the journalist has been a friend of his. He said he visited him at his Polgahawela home at a time when he was in trouble to get it settled. That one highly appreciated him for his good memory. Saying that he still remembered his telephone number, he wrote it down and showed it to him. Sajith said that he left him after taking a look at his horoscope too. In the meantime, Lucky got involved in a chat with ITN's Sudaman. Sajith came up and inquired about it. When he was told that they were discussing the interview, he asked if he was the one who had a one-sided discussion with AKD, with an empty chair ready for him. Sudaman said that the particular chair is still ready, and that it will remain so until he comes. Sajith asked a photographer of his to take a picture of him with the ITN man, saying it will be the first news on most media the following day. With a very tasty breakfast available, the meeting ended after 1 hour. On the previous day, Dulles and several others attended the wedding of the daughter of MP Karunasena, who extended support to Sajith in Parliament. Kumarasiri Hettiga, too, was at the function at Paradua in Matara. He received a call from Sajith, who asked him if everything was okay. He replied that he was busy without a break. Sajith then asked him about what the people say. Hettiger said that they have faith in him as the man for the common people, just like his late father was. Sajith said that he came to politics only after his father died, as he had prohibited him from doing politics, so Sajith too is clearly in the scene. He doesn't let go of anyone. Ex-SLPP lot opens new office for future work. Ranil has around 7 campaign offices running. Wajira has one at Flower Road. Manusha overlooks the Lorries Lane office while Sagala handles the M2M office. Lanza has a big office at Rajagiriya. Siripala uses the SLFP head office. Prasanna used a place at Malala Sekara Mawata until the election announcement came. He was told by his colleagues from SLPP to have a place of their own to make things easy. So, an office got opened at Thalawathugoda, with Rohitha leading. Prasanna, Kanchana, Ramesh, Aluthgamaj, Shehan attended. Sahan Pradeep said that when they were with Mahinda, talks in his support were held mostly at Prasanna's official place. Then we went to Nelam Mawatha, and Rohitha joined in. Another suggested that with the new office located near Prasanna's place, it should be named after him. With a smile, Prasanna told them not to create trouble for him. SLPP district leaders who are with Ranil had a meeting last week with Dinesh at the chair. Prasanna, Kanchana, Ramesh and others were in attendance. They discussed contesting all the elections that come after the presidential election. SB suggested registering one of the parties they have for others to join in. Ramesh said they should have a Politburo led by the PM and comprising both MPs and non-MPs. Prasanna agreed, saying they should have a national organiser, general secretary, treasurer and a convener too. "We can do all that after winning the presidential election," said Dinesh to big applause. Vyangoda's must-answer question to Sajith. Political critic and literary character Gamini Vyangoda says there are 2 key factors that decide the winner in the presidential race. Writing to Anida, he says one is the people's aspiration for economic and political stability that takes the country on the path to development without allowing for a famine like the one experienced during Gota's reign. The second one is their aspiration for a mechanism of governance free of corruption, swindling and free of the corrupt and swindlers. In the meantime, Daily Mirror has been having an opinion poll on the election. The question posed is, now that the election date is set, what should be the number 1 priority of the next president? There are 3 answers to choose from. 1. Recover the country from the economic crisis. 2. Ensure a corrupt-free country and punish those who led the country to an economic crisis. 3. Provide relief measures to the poor by bringing down the cost of living and slashing taxes. By 12th August, the first one had 48% approval, the second 50.2 PC, and the third 1.8 PC. By 21st August, it had changed little to 47.6 PC, 50.6 PC and 1.8 PC respectively. What implies here is that a majority of the people prioritise a country free of corruption rather than economic development. Relief measures for the poor depend on the success of the first 2. Here, the masses believe both Ranil and Sajith focus on the economy, while the MPP can be relied upon to punish the corrupt, says Vyangoda. Depending on this, one could deduce that AKD will be the winner. But the English newspaper readership is minimal, as they belong to a different social category. But it is seen generally that the people treat each of the above on an equal footing. It is true that eliminating corruption and fraud alone cannot develop an economy. It is also true that achieving economic growth is difficult in a country rampant with those 2 vices. The question that the NPP loyalists pose here is if the SJB led by Sajith can be trusted similarly to punish those who made the country bankrupt. It is all too fair that such cannot be expected from a cabinet and a government, which includes corrupt people. Sajith's camp has the ex-SLPPers Godahewa, Dillon, Thilanga, Wirakadi, GL, Dulles, Charitha. Some among them are corrupt, and all have nowhere to turn to. Their sole objective is to obtain a portfolio in a future government, or a parliamentary seat at least. It is understandable that Ranil is campaigning along with a group stranded similarly. Vyangoda asks Sajith to answer as to why the people should trust his alliance more than the MPP to prevent corruption, fraud and wastage. If that question is difficult to answer, an alternative one could be, what is the evidence Sajith has to show that his alliance is cleaner than Ranil's? It is certain that Sajith's victory or loss depends on the answer he gives to that question. Will Sajith answer the question? Very unlikely. Generally, there are suspicions if election promises being made by almost any candidate can be trusted. So, people have to think again and take the correct decision to decide their future. That's it for today.
The leader දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළ ගැස්ම